to sit here in this studio, and the full explosive interview airs later this week. Here's a bit of what's to come. Do you respect women?
Absolutely. Why wouldn't I?
Do you think that 18, 19-year-old women are more attractive than 25-year-old women?
That has nothing to do with hating women, to be honest. That's called preference. If I prefer to like one type of woman, doesn't mean that I'm hating all the other women that I don't prefer. It's called own preference. I don't know why he even brought up the question.
I think there's attractive people. That's a loaded question. I don't know.
True, that's a stupid question. That's the stupidest question I could ever I've ever heard.
Well, it's not really, is it?
I can't.
You know why I'm asking it?
Of course.
Because you're stupid. That's why you're asking the question. That's the actual reason you're stupid.
Of course I do. But I can't sit here and
for
say.
the benefit of viewers who don't know why I'm asking, you said this. In general, this is also one of the reasons men find youth attractive. You want to blow up the internet? I'll blow up the internet right effing now. The reason 18 and 19-year-olds are more attractive than 25.
But isn't it obvious that the men usually find young women attractive than older women, and it goes opposite to women too. Like women find older men more attractive than the young men. Isn't that the norm? Like I don't know what's the big deal.
5-year-olds is because they've been through less dick. People say, oh, you can't say that, but yes, I can. A 19-year-old is more attractive than a 26-year-old woman, and I'll tell you why. Because that 26-year-old has talked to more guys, been to the club more times, been effed and dumped more times, more arguments, more mess, more...
That's actually kind of true on average. The more you age, the more experience you get, and more, more body count, more relationship, more experience. That's actually kind of true.
For me to clean up. That is misogyny.
Why?
What the what the hell? So it's like saying that if my aunt has more experience with men than my little sister who's just turned 18, is that misogyny? If I tell that my 50-year-old aunt has more experience with men than my 18-year-old sister, I don't think that's hating women. That's actually saying the facts. Like that's a possibility. If a older, like it's an actual possibility that an older woman gonna have more experience with men than younger woman.
Why?
Because you are encouraging a mindset about 25-year-old women that makes them sound out to be infinitely less desirable than 18, 19-year-olds, and having effectively been having too much sex to be taken in a more respectful way.
Well, firstly, even if that was the case, that wouldn't be misogyny.
But what did you mean by what you said?
That's not misogyny because it's not anti-women. I'm saying that an 18 or a 19-year-old woman would be more desirable.
Pretty anti-25-year-old woman.
Anti-25-year-old women we can argue, but not misogyny.
Well, that's misogyny then.
No, it's not.
Being anti any woman at all is misogyny.
Not when I'm saying that women are beautiful and attractive at a certain age and saying the age.
You're saying 18, 19-year-olds are more attractive than 25.
Well, then ageist perhaps, but misogynistic.
No, it's not even ageist. Like to be ageist, you need to like hate old people. It's not about also hating old people. It's just like you're preferring younger women than older women, which is actually normal for men. Like obviously men prefer younger women than older women. That's the case. It's not an ageism. Ageism is when you dislike old people than younger people. That's ageism. It's not even ageism. It's nothing. I don't get a big deal. Like Piers Morgan is such a loser. Like he's making a big deal out of such a normal statement.
Absolutely.
Is that not. But you just accepted it was misogyny.
No, I didn't. You said it was misogyny. I'm telling you, no, it's not.
Man, Piers Morgan is such a loser.
26-year-old woman is watching this and has heard those comments.
Yeah.
Would you just say to her, look, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that?
No, I won't. I will say that I am sorry that offends you. However, there's a large contingent of the world.
That doesn't mean you're sorry.
No, I'm not sorry. That's the point I'm making. I'm sorry if that offends you. However, there's a large contingent of the world that believe that, and I was mediating for a conversation.
Parts of the world that believe.
Bro, this guy keeps on interrupting. Like this guy thinks that interrupting someone is winning. It's like winning a debate. This guy been interrupting him like several times. Like he's not even letting him finish.
That about 26-year-old women are parts of the world where women are not allowed out on their own.
That's a conversation.
They have to wear full burqas.
Well, that's a conversation.
They're not allowed to drive.
See, that's what I'm saying. He keeps on interrupting him. Like let him finish. Like this is like what, like 7th time he keeps on interrupting Andrew Tate. Like Piers Morgan such such a loser, bro.
Have cars.
That's nothing to do with me.
But is that the kind of world for a woman that you are?
Like, see, no space to like let your guest speak. There's no like he's not giving not a single bit of space for your guest to speak. What kind of host is that? Like he keeps on interrupting, and Tate like after every few seconds. Like look, there's even like timestamp of him, Piers Morgan the loser interrupting Andrew Tate. Look, 545. Oh damn, it's like 18 times. I think it's more than 18 times.
I was mediating a conversation.
No, I'm asking you what you think.
I don't live in a country where that happens.
You're using that as the excuse for why you're not sorry for saying it.
It's not an excuse.
Is it there are parts of the world?
Why would he be sorry for saying such a normal thing? Doesn't make any sense.
Well, this is fine.
My
So
friend.
my question to you is, well, do you think it's fine?
I don't think it's fine. I live in a world where
You don't think it's fine?
the reason
This
I
isn't that hard, Andrew. You can simply say, Piers, you know what? With the benefit of hindsight, I wish I hadn't said it like that. And if a 26-year-old woman's watching, I'm sorry I said that, because that actually is blatantly misogynist. And even though that's a view held by other parts of the world, it's not a view I share. Now, I would respect you more if you said that than if you try and say, well, it's said in other parts of the world, so I'm not sorry.
I think
That doesn't tell me what you think.
Then you need to understand why my content existed in the first place. My content existed because I tried my very hardest to be an absolute and utter realist, especially with uncomfortable truths. I was pointing out that very uncomfortable.
Is that a truth? Then?
It's an uncomfortable truth in many.
It is actually true. Like men do prefer younger women than older women. That's actually a bitter truth right there.
Parts of the world. It's not a truth that I'm happy about.
An inquest this week found that a 14-year-old girl, Molly Russell, died from an act of self-harm while suffering from depression and the negative effects of online content. The coroner said she was exposed to material that may have influenced her in a negative way, and in addition, what started as...
How's this related to Andrew Tate conversation? I don't know what's trying to prove here. Like, how's this related to the conversation they're having?
Depression and become a much more serious depressive illness, and she very sadly took her life.
That's absolutely disgusting.
Right. Her father,
That's terrible.
Her father's campaign for better protections against potentially dangerous social media algorithms, right? It says that the particularly graphic content she saw romanticized acts of self-harm, normalized her condition, and focused on a limited and irrational...
Again, how is this related to the conversation like they're having? How is it related? I don't get it.
...view without any counterbalance of normality. First of all, what is your response to that? Nothing to do with you.
That's
That's
the first thing. Yeah, it is nothing to do with me. The fact
That's what I'm saying. It has nothing to do with him. I don't know why he brought up that thing. Like, what the hell?
that a 14-year-old girl took her life is truly sad. The world we live in today is the world we live in. The fact that something like that happened is almost mind-blowing to me. That's truly sad. I actually feel sad inside to see something like that.
What has come clear to me in the interview is that a lot of things you say you wouldn't say now that you've said before.
But I'd say it differently, perhaps.
Yeah, right. So
Piers Morgan's trying to like get like sympathy from the audience by using a victim story. Such a loser, Piers Morgan.
to me, that's an acceptance. Not just that you want to get back on platforms, because maybe that was one of the reasons you were no platform, but that you've recognized and understood the potential harm to the wrong kind of impressionable mind by some of the things you've said. Would that be fair?
I think that's 80% fair. I recognize and understand that with massive fame, you have to be more careful about being misconstrued. Like I said earlier, 1% of people misunderstanding you doesn't matter with a small audience. It matters with a very large audience. With power comes responsibility. I still believe the things I say. I do not want to be a negative force for the world. I also understand that I am a man who's lived a very difficult, nuanced life, and I am capable of making nuanced points that may be misunderstood by teenagers. However, that can be said about anybody.
He's really misunderstood by feminists, to be honest. Like, if you go ask the Andrew Tate haters that, oh, why you hate Andrew Tate, like they would be able to answer like why they hate him. Like, first thing they'll say, oh, he's a misogynist, and it's like, okay, define misogyny, and like they can't say like what did he did wrong. Like it's like all these feminists, these people, like they're like brainwashed to hate Andrew Tate. You know, like it's like the whole social media and whole society made and that name Andrew Tate sounds so bad. It's like whenever it comes to people's mind, like, oh, this guy hates women. He's a misogynist. all this stuff. And if you ask Andrew Tate hater like why you hate him, they wouldn't even give a single answer, like a logical single answer, like why they hate Andrew Tate.
And everything. Every opinion online can be misunderstood by children. Trying to protect children from the internet is a very interesting subject in and of itself, because I would argue that 80% of the content on the internet can be negative or detrimental to a young mind that doesn't understand the world.
That's true, actually. And props to Piers Morgan being such a loser and making this interview hilarious and interesting. I'm sorry, I keep it on me regularly. Baby, talking on me, talking right behind.